Eagles. Eagles.
And the Philadelphia Eagles have squandered the opportunity to get the number 2 seed with a loss today to the Washington Commanders 24-17 after the Bears fall to the Lions. So one of the dominoes fell for the Eagles to get the 2 seed, and they do not handle their business. And the Eagles lose today to the 4-12 Commanders, who finished the year 5-12. And the Philadelphia Eagles, your Philadelphia Eagles, finished the season at 11-6 and will be the 3 seed in the playoffs for the NFC. Welcome into the JAKIB Postgame Show, everybody. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, Dan Sileo. We'll talk to John McMullen a little bit later on in the show. Big Sil's coming right to you, man. A lot to talk about on this postgame show. You know, I thought it was going to be a boring one, but now, Sills, you're the 3 seed. Questions on Nick Sirianni's decision to set the starters will be had. Talk on Tanner McKee, well, I presume will die down pretty quickly. And now you will go into next week's playoff game. The number 3 seed you will host. But, boy, that number 2 seed was right within your grasp. Welcome in, Sills. Your first thought, man, when the Eagles lost today.
When I heard people saying in Philadelphia media that, guess what, you can't control anything. Yes, you can. You can control taking care of your business by going out and winning a football game. When you have still indecision when it comes to seeding still out there, don't worry about what other people are doing. Take care of your own business and use your starters. I mean, bro, everything lined up. We saw how the league went this past weekend with Carolina and the Buccaneers and Atlanta and New Orleans. Nothing is a given. Go take care of your own business. You're going to have people say that was out of your hands. No, it wasn't. Take care of your own business. And by the way, you're all welcome. I predicted 11-6 on the season, and it is 11-6. Hey, and for the record on Tanner McKee, hey, dude, when you throw garbage cans out there for the kid to go out there and perform to try to win a game, hey, this is what you're going to get. Of course, a guy with 48 attempts is not going to be in rhythm when you don't really have him out there playing. By the way, too, you lost to the worst quarterback maybe in pro football history in Josh Johnson. He is brutal. And for you to lose that game, and get this, it's not so much that you lose with your backups. Do you really think that they wanted to play Jordan Davis and Moro Ajomo that many reps today? Absolutely not. And you saw the depth level of your football team. If you get any kind of injuries interior-wise, they were completely gassed. So again, I think the decision to sit your starters, or how about this, at least play your starters for a half. I'm sorry, man. Take care of your own business. Don't worry about what – it wasn't like it was out of reach, Zander. There was still something there that if you did win and they lost, you did control a little bit of your destiny if you won. But she went like this. Okay, well, I don't really care about the 2. The only other way to look at this is this. The Eagles didn't care about the 2 seed, and they were okay with the 3 seed. Other than that, any other way, sitting your guys was a mistake.
Well, I'll tell you this. The good news is the 2 seed, I could see that 2 seed getting bounced. It's going to be the Bears. Anybody who saw any of that game today, they didn't look too hot. So let's see what happens with it. I think the question then would become, Sills, would you rather the result that happened today where you fall to the 3 seed, or would you rather get the 2 seed and then, you know, have the potential for an injury?
Okay,
you know?
Well, no. Here. Well, okay, that's what they want.
I don't know. First, let me ask you, do you think it was a mistake to not play the starters today?
At least for a half, yeah.
Okay.
To get a lead and sit on it. Listen, I'm not saying all 4, because, Zander, you tell me, if you put your starters in that football game, you're 21-0 at half. And you could basically do what you did against the Bills and ride home. Okay? You could have rode it home.
I don't know that we'd be up 21-0. I mean, the starters haven't been up 21-0 ever this year.
Okay, so you're telling me they couldn't have done a little better than the current guys that were out there today against that?
I think they would. I think they would have done better. I do think they would have done better.
Right. You don't think A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith would have done better? I do.
No, I do, but I'm just saying I don't think they would have been up 21-0 because they haven't been ever. They played this team 2 weeks ago with Mariota. They weren't up 21-0.
Boy, I do. I'm sorry, I do. I mean,
21-0?
it's 10-7 against stiffs. You had 7 points on the board with stiffs. You're telling me 14 more points between A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley. If that's the case, you're not going anywhere in the playoffs.
Well, whatever they would have been up. I do agree that, you could look at it now. Now it brings everything into play because the Bears lose and, they don't win, so they don't handle their business. Nick's going to get a lot of shit. I will say this. The Eagles are going into the playoffs pretty healthy. That's obviously what the main goal of today was.
Well, that's the only thing. They're not going with any offensive momentum whatsoever.
Yeah, but I don't know that they would have had offensive momentum anyway.
They wouldn't, and they haven't, and they're not. That's my point. They're not.
So you think they would have had it today?
No, I don't think it really matters, but at least you would have been in the two-hole.
Yeah, right. That's what it is to me. It's not about the offensive
It's
momentum.
not about, momentum. You haven't had it all year.
Yeah, I mean, now obviously you would have wanted to get the 2 seed, but I think you're right overall. I mean, I do think the question is obviously come into play now, but
now first you have to go and ask Nick the question: did you not care about being the 2 to rest your guys?
I think they did,
and if he says I didn't care, well then okay.
I think they did. I think they do. I think that's how they maybe looked at it.
Cared by starting their backups. They were arrogant enough to believe they were going to beat them and beat the worst quarterback in pro football. Well, guess what? Welcome to the NFL, kids. These are the best players in the world. And even when you think that you got the best roster on the planet, welcome to the NFL. Even the worst players in the world are some of the best in the world.
It's true. It's true. What'd you make of Tanner McKee's performance? He was 21 of 40 for 221 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He had 3 sacks. Look, I didn't think he played that bad of a game. I thought he spread the ball around well. I mean, he's clearly limited in what he can do. I mean, you see the difference with having a dual threat, a guy that can escape the pocket. You know where it comes up to me the most is the 3rd and 4th and shorts, where you trust Jalen to just make a play, whether it's with his legs, his arm, whatever it is. Tanner just can't move, and if nobody's open, they're cooked. And I got one other takeaway from the game today. All right, this is my one other takeaway, and I assume I'll be fighting with John on this all week. I think today was the worst day Kevin Patullo had all year because everybody told me all year, John included, they run an offense a certain kind of way because of the quarterback, because of the philosophy and all these different things. Well, you got a quarterback who threw the ball 40 times today. I don't think Kevin Patullo called a very good game. Do you?
He didn't. And by the way, just to put it in context, that's the 5th best passing attacking offense in the year. That 241 yards passing that he had was 5th on the season. Just to put it in context on how bad the passing offense, that a guy with only 48 attempts comes into a ball game and throws the ball for the 5th best passing attack in the season this year. And for the record, get this. You want to see this one? The top one was 326 against Minnesota. After that, it was 289, lost to Dallas. 283, lost to New York. 280, lost to Denver. 240, lost to the Chargers. 241, lost to the Washington Commanders. Every time that football team has to throw the ball over 30 times, they lose.
Well, now that you've seen it with multiple quarterbacks too, do you think the Eagles have approached – do you think Nick Sirianni is smarter than we're giving him credit for them by this approach?
I think Nick Sirianni knows that he's winning football games with his defense and his conservatism because the quarterbacks, again, Tanner McKee basically had the same kind of output in a way that Jalen Hurts had. When the Philadelphia Eagles have to throw the ball 40 times, they lose. You lose
40 times today. They chose to. They didn't run the ball. They had 6 carries in the first half.
Right. Well, when you throw 40 times, you lose. Why did they run it more? I thought Bigsby had a great game. Why weren't you running? Get this.
I think Bigsby deserves more carries. Seriously. That dude runs hard.
16 carries, 75 yards on the game, and he had 4.7 a carry. Why wouldn't you have fed him more? By the way, I'll say this to you. I've brought this up numerous times, and I've been fought on it. Your depth level in your defensive tackle position is weak. Holy cow, man. When you take Jalen Carter off the field and you have to play multiple guys in there, they were gassed. That guy, Ty Robinson, had no right being on the field in the fourth quarter. He was out of gas. He was not conditioned to play in that football game. I'll say this to you, Jalix Hunt, in 3 years, is going to be one of the top edge rushers in this sport. Dude, 2 turnovers in the ball game. He was exceptional. Hey, I'll say this too. Your backup corners are the worst in pro football.
Oh, my gosh. Adoree Jackson deserves it. 1, an apology, and 2, a credit for the way he's played. He's obviously not the greatest corner in the world, but Keely Ringo and Ja'Cory Bennett, they are awful players.
Awful.
I don't like to say that.
I personally, and you're right. I don't like doing that.
For an NFL guy.
I'm with you. I don't like saying right.
Holy crap.
I'm with you.
I don't like a walking flag, Sills.
Bro.
Ja'Cory Bennett can't keep his hands off people.
Bro, Ja'Cory Bennett's the worst player on the team.
They traded Thomas Booker for that guy, and you say we don't have good defensive tackle depth. Whew.
Was on display today.
Yeah, well, I know why Adoree Jackson's the starter now. Sills, all right. We're going to talk more about the game. I want to thank everybody for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button today. Eagles, Niners, at the link next weekend. That's your opening round playoff matchup for your Philadelphia Eagles, everybody listening. Sills, what's your first thought on that matchup for the Birds in round 1?
I don't think that the Niners are going to put up 35 points on that team.
No, they put up 3 on Seattle last night.
Okay. Well, you've got to determine if you think your defense is in Seattle's room, and I do think they are.
I do.
Okay?
Too.
I do. So I'm going to go down this lane. This is going to be a Christian McCaffrey and a George Kittle ball game. This is going to be how they handle those 2 guys. And pressure on Purdy. If you get pressure on Purdy, move him off his point, you should be able to win this football game. I would definitely think that this is going to be about a 5.5-point game spread. That's what I would throw out there in favor of the Eagles here. Now, listen, Seattle's a really good football team right now, and they're playing with momentum. It's funny, Xander, momentum sometimes doesn't mean you're the better team. It just means that you're playing with great confidence and you're playing going into ball games with great momentum. Let me ask you this. Do you really think the Eagles are playing? I don't believe the Eagles are playing as a unit with great momentum. I think they're playing with the defensive side of the ball with great momentum.
Yeah,
offensively, I think you're spotty.
Well, I think we've been spotty all year. I mean, we've been a defensive.
Well, that's your identity.
All year. Well, and I think, you look at the way Seattle won last night. That to me is the recipe to beat the Niners. Take them out of the game defensively. They've had a really easy schedule this year. Now, granted, I think they're more talented than most. I've been talking about them for a couple of weeks now. I think they're a good team, but that's a perfect Eagle game.
Bro, they're in the best division in football, though, too. Remember,
defensively, how do you think here's the matchup in next
Remember,
week.
Though, Xander, they played the Rams twice. They played Seattle twice. You're talking about a really good division, and you're talking about a Cardinal team that actually pushed the Rams today a little bit in the first half of that football game. I'm not saying that the Cardinals are a great team. Cardinals have some talented football players there, but that's the best division in football. And when you play tomato cans, you're going to be able to go out there and not really know who you are. And the NFC East has not been good this year. It just has not been. You split in the NFC East this year.
Eagles finished 3-3 in the NFC East this year.
The Cowboys had a better record in the East.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. That I would call that maybe one of few fails this year to go 3-3 in the East this year.
You were 500 in the East, right?
Yeah, that's no good. All right, this is the matchup I think is great next week. That I think could determine the game, and obviously players come first. But in a rare moment, I think you have an amazing coaching matchup next week. Kyle Shanahan versus Vic Fangio. Which of those two, Kyle the offensive mastermind, Vic the defensive mastermind, who gets the better of which? I think that could arguably win the game next week. Whoever has the better plan, whoever has the better plan for the game in that one.
How about this? If you flip the coin on, let's just go here and flip the coin. How do you like Robert Saleh versus Kevin Patullo?
I don't like it very much.
I don't think San Francisco has any talent over there.
Yeah, well, and Seattle only scored 13 points. That was a good defense.
But remember, what did you do against that Bears team that was ranked 30th in defense? Like you said all year, Zander, you said this. That Eagle offense is not taking advantage. That Eagle offense is not taking advantage of one bad defense this year.
Yeah, but that's not what I asked you
think you're going to go into this game and taking advantage of the Niner defense?
I didn't say that. I asked you about the offensive matchup versus our defense.
I'm not questioning you. I'm saying you said all year long, what defense have you taken advantage of?
Yeah, I agree. We don't take advantage of defenses.
That's right. So this is what you said on the other side of it is going to come down to Vic and Kyle. I think Vic is more patient than what Kyle is. I think Kyle, look, Super Bowl when he was the OC in Atlanta, the Super Bowls with Garoppolo and Purdy, I think he panics a little bit in the fourth quarters a little bit. Hey, his record of being in those big games is not very good. You agree?
Yeah, I mean, he obviously doesn't, hasn't gotten the job done, but he's still had some great playoff success. I mean, he's been to multiple Super Bowls. So let's see what he can do. I mean, I think it's going to be a good game next week. I don't know if anybody has seen the schedule for the game on what it's going to be, a Saturday night.
Eagles, I would bet Sunday. I mean, you're going to put the Eagles on a Sunday, not a Saturday. You're going to put Carolina on a Saturday.
By the way, here's the other good thing I think that's not very likely, but it's possible. I think it's possible that the Packers knock off the Bears next week.
Man, they are just melting down, though.
The Bears just don't look that good. I mean,
the Packers are worse.
Four straight losses, but remember, in the game that they played a couple of weeks ago, they would have won that game in Chicago if Jordan Love didn't go down.
Bro, the Packers got beat today. I mean, they're like, how many games have they lost in a row coming down the stretch, or how many games have they lost? I mean, they're melting down they got annihilated by the Vikings today. I mean, in a game, again, like you said there. Now, look, they didn't start Love in the ball game, and they didn't really play guys in this game here. But, boy, man, I mean, Green Bay, of all the teams heading into the postseason on the NFC side, them in Carolina, those are my biggest outliers on what they could do if they could do anything.
Yeah, I think
it comes to the playoffs.
To me, this is an Eagles defensive Super Bowl run. I mean, if this defense plays well, I think they could be right back in the Super Bowl. I really do. I mean, I'm looking at the way this thing could crumble. I know they're 3 seed and you want to be the 2 seed, but you're going to start with the Niners at home, and then you're probably who would it be if you're the 3 seed and you win? Would it be the 2 seed?
You'd go to Chicago.
If Chicago wins, you'd go to Chicago.
If they win, you would go to Chicago.
And if they lost, you'd probably play the Rams because they'll probably be.
Am I not right here? Let me take a look at it here. Would Chicago open up with the Packers?
Yeah, that's who they're going to play. 2 versus 7. And then the 1 seed will play the lowest remaining. So if the Packers win, they'd obviously play the Packers.
Oldest rivalry in football in Chicago, that could go either way.
Yeah, boy, if the Eagles win their first playoff game next week, I think, and I don't know, we'll see what happens in that Bears game, but there's a chance the cookie crumbles our way. Let's see how it goes.
Let me ask you this: in the second round, if they were able to go on, would they play the Rams in the second round?
Only if the Packers upset the Bears. If the Packers upset the Bears, you almost want the Bears to win and play. Who would you rather play? Would you rather play the Rams at home or the Bears on the road?
You know what? I'm going to go with what you've been saying. I don't know what it is. When this guy's like 10 down or 13 down, that Caleb Williams makes plays late. Dude, he makes some plays. Jeez. The Packers are just they don't have the tight end. They don't have Parsons. One of the receivers is banged up. I don't know, man.
All right, we'll get there. We got to see what happens next week. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But I am thinking about that. That's probably going to be what it looks like if you're able to handle business and beat the 49ers. 49ers have played well, though. I know they lost last night, everybody. But, they definitely found something late in the year. They were playing good football. And, I think they're going to come in, with a chip on their shoulder and see how they play. I think the Eagles.
Well, it's going to be a well-coached football team rolling in. That's for damn sure.
I agree.
You got coordinators on both sides of the football that are. It reminds me a little bit of Chicago, doesn't it? When you have Dennis Allen and you have, Ben Johnson, you're going to have Robert Saleh and you're going to have Kyle Shanahan rolling into these games. I mean, Zander, this is pretty good coaching going up here. And what do you make of the 11-6 record?
I thought of coming into this game, it was all things considered pretty good. I mean, you had a number 1 overall schedule. You had no back-to-back home games. You had, 6 primetime games, and you played on, 4 or 5 different days of the week. You had a Friday game, Thursday game, Saturday game, Sunday game, Monday game. I mean, all these different games. So, and they had tough opponents. So I thought all things considered, had they gotten to 12-5, which I was hoping they would, I thought it was a success. You lose the final game, you fall to 11-6. I think it's a push. I mean, I don't think they overachieved, but I also don't want to sit here and say that they underachieved, and I'm good with it. Now it's time to put up or shut up, man. Look, this is the beauty about being where the Eagles are. When you're like the Chiefs were a couple years ago, you don't get too caught up on regular season records, all right? They matter. I'm not saying they don't matter, but this is where you butter your bread now. You're in the postseason. Now, you go and win a couple games in the postseason, I assure you nobody's going to give a rat's ass about 11-6 or 12-5. So handle the business now in the postseason. I feel great about the defense. The offense has been a concern all year long, but, that's kind of the unchangeable, right? Like, it's not changed.
You're 7-6. You're 7-6 since the Liars month of September.
Yeah, but the season's over now, so you got to put the full context in. They're
I'm putting the full context of the season in because the season identifies what your identity is going into the playoffs. You don't automatically go into the postseason and create a new identity.
You cherry picked though from October. They're 11-6 on the season.
Well, I've been calling it all year. September's the Liars month, and I've been saying it since September for about 3.5 months now. That usually you don't really get reality football in the first month of the season, and you get it after that. So to me, you don't automatically create a new identity just because it's the postseason. The season tells you what you've done. I mean, that's who you are. That's what your identity is. The defense is playing at a high level, and the offense has been spotty up and down all year. That's what you are going
all right,
in.
So here's the question for you then. So Nick Sirianni will probably be under fire this week because of how it went. I think people will move on from it quick because we got a playoff game coming up.
Correct.
But so here's the truth though. Do you think the team will have benefited from getting a proverbial bye week this week by not playing starters? Offensive starters didn't play, defensive starters didn't play, except for a couple out there. Do you think there's real benefit for the Eagles going into the game next week, well rested and ready to go?
7 days was enough that you thought would take like a rest. You think 7 days is enough of a rest? Okay. All right. Well, again, I don't really think 7 days. I think it's, you get a chance to heal up a little bit more. It's kind of like a bye week a little bit for you. Yep. Obviously, the older players that have been banged up like Cam Jurgens and Lane and Dickerson, those guys are going to benefit. But I don't know. I mean, I again, 7 days. It's like plasma shots. It's kind of a Band-Aid, but we'll see. Again, when you get Lane back in there and you have Jalen Carter back in there, you got a whole different identity of a football team. Those two guys change your identity. So I mean, the guy who benefited the most from the bye is going to be Lane and Cam. And maybe Dickerson will benefit the most going into this game against San Francisco. And also this too, Zander, you're at home. If you had to go on the road and you did the bye, I'd probably say not really much. But I would probably say because your offensive guys have been banged up in that offensive line, maybe Barkley too a little bit, that, with all the carries of a year ago, he'll benefit a little bit. I was impressed with Tank. I really like what Tank did.
Honestly, dude, I thought Tanner had an okay game. I didn't really think
he did.
I mean, look, it wasn't
up
great.
And down a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but look, he hasn't played a game all year. He's got backups out there, backup offensive line, backup receivers. I thought he was good, and I thought he spread the ball around. Well, he didn't do great, but I don't think he did terrible at all.
How about this, Zander? Let me ask you this: do you think a bye helps an offense that hasn't performed well this year?
Well, I think it helps just from the physicality.
Okay.
Yeah, just
not from a continuity end.
Yeah, no. I mean, they haven't had that all year though, bye or not. I mean, so I don't feel like that to me has changed. That variable has stayed the same kind of all year. The offense is going to be inconsistent and largely unproductive to the level you want them to be. That remains the same. If the defense can give you what they've given you all year, I think the formula is there next week. Keep that San Francisco point output low, and the Eagles will find a way to win the football game, and then it's on to the next one. So
I'll tell you, here's something that you could take forever any way you want. No matter how great you think Vic Fangio is as a coordinator, when you put Ja'Cory Bennett and you put Keely Ringo back there in your secondary, this guy's not a magician. So when you have bad play back there, this comes down to what Dave Wanstead said years ago when he was on this program. It comes down to great players. And when you get great players back out there, you're going to get a great performance on your defensive side of the ball.
Well, Sills, it's funny you say that because on the halftime show, I said this, and I don't say this to take away anything from Vic Fangio, but I think we got to give the defensive players more credit here. And it's not to say that Vic doesn't do a great job too, but you see, like Vic Fangio called the game today too, guys.
Right.
He needs good players, and the players on the Eagles defense are good because he's able to run that defense and play it well and manage it well. So I think we got to give the players.
There's no way they wanted to play Moro Jomo and Jordan Davis that much today.
No, how many snaps?
No way.
I don't know how many snaps they played, but
boy, they were. Let me tell you what. Jordan Davis played a ton of snaps. He played a ton of snaps out there. Hey, let me ask you one question here, Zander. When you saw that automatically that somebody could have voiced down on the sidelines to Nick and said, because there was about 2 minutes left in the game, what if somebody would have called down and said, Nick, why don't you put AJ and Devontae back in the final drive to try to get them a touchdown to win the second seed? Do you think that was a mistake too?
I don't know. I mean, would you have been able to do that in the middle of the game?
Devontae played.
Yeah.
You put him in to get his yardage. Why wouldn't you put him in to try to get you a win?
Maybe.
I mean, what was more important, getting his grand or to win?
Yeah, clearly. I mean, I can understand.
But the most important thing in that game for the Eagles was today is to get Devontae Smith the 1K and not the win.
I mean, it's tough to push back on that because they did play Devontae in the start of the game. Why not play him at the end of the game?
And when he got him,
they
right. Pulled him. Well, when you saw that the Bears had lost and he had a shot at the 2, why wouldn't you put him back in? Obviously, it wasn't that important to him. Now, when Nick says that, he may say that, Zander. He may go like this. Hey, we're comfortable with being the 2 or the 3.
Yeah,
if he says that, then I'm going to go like this. Okay.
As a football guy, do you? I'm sure you understand that thought process, don't you? I mean, getting into that, yeah, right. I don't give a shit.
I leave that to the coaches to make that call. That's not my, that's me. I go out. You want me to go play 50 plays, or you want me to play 5 plays? That's on you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see how it is, man. Let's see. It's going to be a good one, man. Playoffs are here, though. I'm fired up, man. Look, the Eagles are in the playoffs. The number 3 seed. We get a playoff game at the Link next week. And we get to host the San Francisco 49ers. Where is Nad? Where are all our resident 49er fans, man? We need them in the chat this week because it's going to be a fun week getting ready for this one, Sills. I think it's going to be a good game, man. I think it's a good matchup, and I think if the Eagles are able to win the football game, and things bounce their way, it could be one of their tougher playoff matchups out of the way early. I think that, man. I do.
Here's the first round. Bears, Packers, Eagles, Niners, Panthers, Rams. Remember, the Panthers beat the Rams earlier.
Dude, this is the dream for me. I take it back. I don't want the Packers to upset the Bears. This is the dream scenario for me in the postseason. First round, Niners. Second round, Bears. And then you let Seattle versus LA play, and you only got to deal with one of them. Man, if the Rams beat Seattle, you get the host. If the Seattle wins, then you're going to Seattle.
You don't want to do this. I got to play the Rams, then Seattle.
Wait a second. So if I told everybody listening,
maybe the 3rd seed will pan out that way.
Maybe it will. If I told you at the beginning of the season, you're going to go to the Super Bowl and your 3 playoff matchups are going to be the 49ers, the Bears, and the Seahawks, you'd have said, sign me the fuck up. Sign me up right now.
Okay. There's only one little hitch I'd throw in there. Bears did beat you up.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Okay.
I like that
You're assuming that that's an off game. It could be.
I'm assuming that the Eagles defense took that personally.
Okay.
Brandon Graham, I was listening to Brandon Graham's podcast this week, and he said, man, them Bears, they ran over us this week. We're not happy about that this year. I think they took that personally. It doesn't mean they're going to stop it, but I think I like that matchup versus the Bears.
Okay. I mean,
it
could be. It could be that way. It could be. I'm not suggesting it won't be.
Yeah, so we'll see what ends up happening in that one. It's going to be an exciting playoff game. Let's get to some super chats here. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Got a lot of big super chats. We'll get to as many as we can here in the post-game show, and I'll get to every single one of them before I leave, but I probably can't rip them all right now. Let's go to Go Birds, $20 super. Thank you, brother. Jalen ball washers pounding their chest because Jalen is faster in a Lambo than McKee was in a Toyota Corolla. Ringo and Bennett should be bagging groceries by Monday. They cost us this game. Pathetic.
I would make the comment that I kind of agree with it, that you gave Tanner McKee a couple of trash.
I don't agree with the way he phrased it. But
I
agree with that. Yeah, I mean.
There were a couple trash cans out there that he was throwing the ball to. There were some bad decisions and some bad throwaways. But, dude, your cornerbacks in your secondary, holy cow. I think it shows you the kind of coaching that Vic had by trying to find the pieces that were going to fit to make it all work together. And I also think that Jalen Phillips' impact was on display today. When he wasn't out there, that secondary was terrible. When there was no pressure, there was Josh Johnson. Am I wrong when I say this?
Yeah,
wait a minute. Am I wrong when I say this? John McMullen said, I want to fine and I want to sue the NFL for having Josh Johnson play. Well, he just beat you.
Yeah, it's true. I'll say this about his point on Tanner. Like, I'll ask everybody, and I agree. I agree. I don't think Tanner played awesome, but if Jalen Hurts came into a game and all his receivers were hurt or out, and all his offensive line was hurt or out, and his starting tight end was hurt or out, and his starting running back was out, like, what would the expectation be?
Well, right, he's going to be able to move the sticks with his wheels.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, I think we do have to factor that in when evaluating Tanner McKee.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think it was perfect, but I think you got to factor that in. Go Birds, what's up? I appreciate the super, brother. Let's go to let me see here. Here's Marsh. What's up, Marsh? I don't want to hear shit about McKee ever again. Pumper, you are a moron. All right, go on there. Let's go to some more. Here's Motorscape Gary. What's up, Gary? F it. Line him up and knock him down. In Philly, in Chicago, doesn't matter. We have the pedigree, experience, and the absolute dominating defense. No one thinks we have what it takes. Keep sleeping.
I think that if I were looking at the defenses in this